Hey, it's Reverend Crystal. I have a file that if you click on the, oh, how are you? It's dinner time, but I just took some time to put this together and I'm just offering it to you because I am in a lot of Facebook groups for officiants, and I keep hearing these things of people not being clear, and then they with their potential clients, and then they get in trouble and they get all stressed out about stuff. So I just put this little guide together because, and you don't need, I don't need your email address or anything like that. You can just go ahead and download it, but it's 10 best practices to keep in mind when you're talking with clients and when you're making arrangements with them. So I'm just going to go over those really quickly with you. I hope you can see me because I've got the document pulled up. I'm trying to do that at the same time while I'm doing this. Yeah, I think you can still see me. So hey, you guys. So just really quickly, because I just want us to stop hassling with things that when we're clear ahead of time, and then we don't go around and blame other people for not understanding what we expect. So the first thing and here's the other thing that I would say is that I'm not a real, I don't have like a real elaborate contract, and I know some people do, and it might be a good idea. I do have an agreement though, and it just comes in the form of a letter that has a lot of information that's all listed, and then people have to my couples have to sign it. And most of these things that are on here are there, although when I get to this one part, I want to remember a lawyer did say I needed to reword this, so it's incorrect on here. But I wanted to get this out because I'm going to go cook some dinner. So the first thing you want to have on any of your communications, any agreement that you have with your couple, is that you've got to have your contact information, and you want to have any hours where you're not going to be available, or any times, or if you don't have that written down, you want to make sure that you convey that to the people that you're working with, so that they know if they don't hear from you on a Sunday. Like I always tell people, I do my best to take Sundays off, but if it's the only time that'll work with you, I will work with you. So yeah, if that makes sense to you, give me a like or raise your hand. Yay, that's cool. And then you want to be very clear about fee and payment methods, like what are the due dates that you got, and then any charges that you're going to have for late payments or bounce checks or anything like that. I think that every officiant needs to have some kind of non-refundable deposit amount in an agreement, because that's how you're going to tell if they're going to be serious about working with you, because they don't want to forfeit that. So even if it's just something like $50, mine is now $250. I don't know if Humming Spirit or Kelly or Todd, you have what your amounts are, but that's what I had. It used to be $150, now it's $250. And then any extra fees that you're going to charge, like if people are like really late for a rehearsal, or they leave without signing their marriage license, like what the fee is going to be for you having to hang around, because it's not like you're expendable. Now maybe you can take it really lightly and you're ready to go ahead and play, and that's fine, and wait for them. That's okay. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But my time is pretty valuable, and so I have that, what I charge for an extra half hour or an hour or whatever. So, and then you want to have something in there about what needs to be in place before you put their wedding on your calendar, so that they can't just go kind of force it, I was going to say fart around, but I won't say that. Fuss around while you're kind of in limbo. So you want to be clear about that. And then if there's any change of, like if they change their date or their time or their location, like, I just have something, contact me right away, so that I can make an adjustment or tell you whether it's going to be possible for me or not. So we don't want them just to expect that, you can change really easily anytime that they do. And then a cancellation policy, like, what will happen if they do cancel, and that's kind of like the non-refundable deposit. So maybe that's not necessarily needed by you. The other thing is, I have a privacy policy for my 3 wedding related businesses, just so that people know. It's a pretty good idea to have a privacy policy. Let's see. Who is responsible for it? So like if you do like a more elaborate wedding ceremony, I don't know how elaborate some of you guys get. I have like an elopement ceremony that I do during certain times, and so there's never any special ceremony usually for any kind of an elopement ceremony. But for the really customized, personalized ceremonies that I do, they might want to do a sand ceremony or a candle lighting or a wine box or something like that. And I think it's just a really good idea to put in any kind of an agreement who is responsible for providing the supplies. And then I ask my couples, I don't have this in an agreement, but I probably should, that if somebody else is doing a reading, who supplies the reading to the reader, if it's not me, if it's not you, just to be clear. And then to get written permission from the couple or the photographer if you are going to ask to use either their engagement photos, that like I post engagement photos on my wedding website before the ceremony takes place, and then after the ceremony I post pictures of them, and then sometimes I use them in promotions, or I use them on my Facebook page, that kind of thing. So you want to get written permission then and keep them in a file someplace. And then I always include basic marriage license information, because doesn't it seem like sooner or later they also ask you about marriage licenses? A lot of people do. So I just have on my agreement some basic information about a marriage license. And then I always have a place for them to sign it and date it. And they can now, take a copy of it and then email it back to me, or they mail it, because I'm kind of old-fashioned. I still do stuff a lot of times with checks. So I ask them to sign and then that they've understood it, even though that has all of this stuff in there, even though a lot of times they still ask me about it. At least if there's ever any kind of a conflict, I can say, well, you signed this and you said that you understood that. So I've never had to do that, but I think it's a really good idea to have that in there. And then this is a best practice, and I know I might sound a little bit like a mom in this, but whenever there's any kind of disagreement or anything like that, always be kind, because there's been times when I've gotten impatient with people and I want to get upset, and then it turns out that it was my mistake, or it was just an easy misunderstanding because something wasn't clear. So always be kind, because if you got to back up or you were rude, then you might have ruined the connection that you have with the couple, which is so important to have and to maintain. So that's it. Does anybody have any questions or add anything to? So if you want to add anything to that, but again, do you see that link in there where it says HTTPS HW334 Infusionsoft? That's where you can go and get this 10 Officiant Best Practices. Okay, and again, there's no email address or anything like that needed. Okay, so anyway, okay, because I know some of you guys are pretty experienced. So yeah, see in the if you look at the description of this Facebook Live, it says, I hear so many times on Officiant Facebook group. See that up at the very top? And then at the very bottom of it, there's a link. I'll put it right there. So it's right below as well, your comment. So there's 2 places where you can get it. Okay? That's okay. If you're on a phone, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. Yeah, it's now in the feed here, Hummer. It's right below your first question, and now it's above your "I'm on the phone" comment. So even if you're on a phone, you should see it. Now all I gotta do is click on it, and I'll take you to download it. Okay. All right. So anybody got any comments? You guys are wonderful. You do a great job. I'm sure you do a great job. What's Sherry? Oh, Sherry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Sherry. Okay. All right. I'm in my kitchen. Those are not my dogs, by the way. Okay. All right. Well, I won't take up any more of your time. You know, feel free to email me at crystal@officianttraining.com, or you can message me in the Facebook group. Okay. All right, you guys. Okay. All right. Thank you. Love to you. Bye.